Hey Joe, it's Folks here. I've been running print-on-demand stores for about 8 years now, and even today, I still run into things that most beginners don't expect. Whether you're someone who's just thinking about getting into print-on-demand and actually launching a store, or you're someone that's already started and you're trying to figure out what's going wrong, there are going to be some things that nobody really talks about, and in a lot of cases, they can cost you time, money, and momentum. So in this video, I'm going to break down 7 of the things that I wish someone told me before I started my first print-on-demand store in 2016. Some of these might surprise you, especially number 4 and number 6. And by the end of the video, you're going to know exactly how the print-on-demand business works. You'll understand some of the biggest mistakes that beginners make, and you'll also know exactly which tools and apps and software you should definitely use and which ones you can skip for now. And if you are just getting started, make sure to check out my POD for Dummies course. It's completely free. There's a link down in the description. Inside are over 30 videos showing you how to build your store and get started with social media marketing. Like I said, it is completely free and there is a link down in the description. And the first thing is I want to address a major misconception that most people have about print on demand. Most people think that print on demand is too saturated to start in 2025. If you look here at the Google trend for print on demand over the last 10 years or so, you will see that every single year we see an increase. More and more people are getting into print on demand. For some people, that might mean it's too difficult to get started. In my opinion, print on demand is just how we are fulfilling our orders. We are still creating apparel businesses or home decor businesses or businesses that sell all sorts of different things, and that will never go out of style no matter how many people are doing it. If we take a look at this study here, you can see that in 2024, the print on demand global market was valued at $10 billion. They are projecting that over the next 10 years, by 2034, it will reach almost $103 billion. That's a 10x increase between now and then. I'm basically showing you that to make you aware that this market is still growing. We still have a lot of room to go. In 2024, it was valued at $10 billion, and by 2034, it will be over $100 billion. Again, I share that to basically help you to understand that this is a growing market. It is not too late. The key is just making sure that you are trying to differentiate yourself a little bit. Here on my channel, one of the biggest ways I recommend you to do that is by avoiding print-on-demand t-shirts. I've got lots of videos here on my channel showing you some of the print-on-demand suppliers that offer some of the most unique print-on-demand items that you can sell. Definitely make sure to check those out if you are curious. The next thing I want to address is another misconception that many print-on-demand beginners have. This is really not a business that you can start with $0. A lot of times people will make a video on YouTube talking about how you can start print on demand for free. In some cases that is true if you are selling print on demand in some outdated ways, but in 2025 and beyond, most print on demand sellers are selling on Shopify or they are listing their designs on Etsy. Both of those methods are not going to be free. With Shopify, you do have to pay for a membership. They do offer a $1 for a 3 months plan right now, which is awesome. Etsy also is not free. You're going to have listing fees. You're also going to have many fees when you do make a sale when you are selling on Etsy. My point is, if you are getting into this thinking that you are starting a business for free, you are mistaken. One thing to keep in mind as well is that when you are actually making a sale, your print-on-demand company is going to bill you, which means you need to have a payment method on file with them. A lot of times print-on-demand beginners think that if they just get started with print-on-demand and someone buys one of their items, the money from the customer that is buying their item is going to automatically go to the print-on-demand supplier, and that is false. With print-on-demand, if you're selling on Etsy or on Shopify, there are 2 separate transactions. In transaction 1, your customer is paying you. That money is typically going to take a business day or 2 to get to your bank account, and transaction number 2 is from your print-on-demand supplier. They're going to bill you the moment you have an order, which basically means if you don't have money on hand to fulfill your order, it's not going to be fulfilled. A lot of times when beginners realize this, it sends them into a panic. Honestly, it's not a reason to panic if you are starting with no money to fulfill your orders. What you're going to do is just let the money from your customer transfer to your bank account. Once it does, you can then process your order inside of your print-on-demand supplier. At the end of the day, if the customer has to wait an extra day or 2, it is not that big of a deal, especially if it's just for your first few orders, to make sure that you have the money in your account to fulfill them. And the next thing I want to talk about is how important personalization is to your designs. When I say personalization, I'm talking about something like this, where your customer is adding a photo to your design and creating a brand new product. You could also do personalization like this, where the customer is adding their last name, a location, and even a date, basically adding custom text to your design. Doing this is more important than ever right now because print on demand is so popular. I am not trying to say that if you're not doing personalization that you are destined to fail. What I am saying though is that in a lot of situations you can actually make more sales and more profits when you allow your buyers to personalize your designs. A lot of beginners think that this is going to be super time consuming. A lot of times they don't want to be doing all of these different edits with their designs to process the orders. They just would like to make sales and collect the money for the order and not have to go and personalize each one. That's where softwares like T and Blue come in. You can create custom products super simple and automated with their software. Customers can come in here, they can type in custom names and basically see a live preview in real time. Everything that the customer is doing as soon as they are submitting the order and buying it from you, T and Blue will actually create the print file and send it directly to your print on demand provider for you in order to produce the item. This means that there is no work for you. You set it up in T and Blue and then you are ready to sell personalized designs with automation on your store. Now, T and Blue also has a bunch of free designs as well that you can instantly publish to your store and begin selling with personalization inside of them. You can also create your own design for your niche and then have T and Blue set up on your store in order to actually process the order. My point in bringing this up is that if you are a beginner just getting started with print on demand, you're going to want to think about how your niche could benefit from personalization. Things like custom text such as names and locations and dates, or even custom photos of people's pets or even of their children, if it makes sense for your niche, could be a great way to stand out. And like I said, in a lot of cases, people shy away from doing this because they are afraid of all of the extra work. I have made videos on my channel before about how T and Blue makes it super simple for you to be able to sell different personalized print on demand designs by simply syncing their app with your store. The cool part of this, like I said, is pretty much that you are going to be able to show a live preview to the customer. The customer can edit this with whatever they want, as I just typed that on the screen, and they see a live preview of it. And as soon as they add this to their cart and buy it, T and Blue will actually send that exact design file to your print on demand provider, and quite literally while you're sleeping, you can fulfill these personalized orders. I will put a link down in the pinned comment if you wanted to check out T and Blue. They did share a special offer with my audience, so I will detail that down there as well. The next thing we're going to talk about is also something that could blindside a lot of print on demand beginners. What I'm referring to is how you are going to be handling returns or even refund requests from your customers. A lot of times people start their print on demand store and they are not aware that their print on demand supplier will not be the one that will be managing their returns and customer complaints for them. Again, if you're selling on Etsy or on Shopify, you're going to be syncing your store with a print on demand provider. 99.9% of the print on demand providers that you are going to be using all have the same return policy. Essentially, if the item is something that arrives damaged or defective or something like that, you will be eligible for a refund or they will send a replacement to your customer. The problem is, for some sellers, is that that is the only way that you can get a refund or a replacement sent. Meaning, if your customer receives the item and they just don't want it anymore, they are going to be dealing directly with you and your supplier is not going to offer you anything. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that your print on demand supplier is your supplier. They are who is delivering the item for you. If they deliver an item that is not defective, is not broken, they are basically done with what they are doing for your order. If your customer ever has an issue or if they just want to return it, they're going to be working with you and you are going to have to set your own policy to deal with that. Now, obviously, like I said, if the item is defective or damaged or something like that, all you need to do is message your print on demand supplier. They will offer you a refund or send a replacement to your customer. For that reason, what I do on my stores is I implement a similar policy. I basically write somewhere on my store that my business is a made to order business, which means I partner with a production partner when an order is placed. Once that order is placed, the item is mailed to them. Quality is guaranteed, and if your item arrives damaged, we will offer you a refund or a replacement. And because we are a made to order business, refunds and and replacements are only offered on damaged items. Writing something like that helps you to mirror the exact policy that your print-on-demand supplier has, and it could protect you in situations where someone decides they just don't want the item any longer. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is probably one of the most common questions that I get from print-on-demand beginners. A lot of times people will ask me if they are going to be limited to using just one print-on-demand supplier on their store. Whether you're selling on Etsy or on Shopify, you can use as many suppliers as you want. You could quite literally have 100 print-on-demand suppliers installed on your store. It really does not matter. The point is that you have hooked up a print-on-demand supplier to your store, you've linked it to a product, and when someone buys it, that order is going to go to whatever supplier the product is hooked up to. Obviously, there could be some nuance here. You're going to need more than one account because you're using more than one supplier, which means you're going to be potentially managing different services within the back end of your store, and that could honestly get a little bit dicey if your customers are ever receiving damaged items. For the most part though, if you are using just one or two or even 3 or 4 suppliers, you're probably not going to have any issues. The only time I see people get a little bit confused is if they are using 8, 9, or even 10 different print-on-demand suppliers on their store. That's because they likely now have a very large product catalog because they're using that many suppliers, and it can be difficult for them to track all of the different products on their store. So for that reason, I typically am going with 1 or 2 or maybe 3 print-on-demand suppliers on my store. When it comes to choosing a print-on-demand supplier, one great way to make a decision would be to actually order yourself a sample. Again, this is a very common question I get as well. Most beginners want to know if they should be ordering samples of every single product that they sell. Now, obviously, the more samples you can order, the better, because you're going to be able to check the quality of your item, you're going to make sure that the order process works well with the print-on-demand supplier you're working with, and you're also going to get excited because opening a sample of a print-on-demand product that you designed is exciting. This is something I have seen help with motivation. There has definitely been times in the past where maybe I was doing something that I wasn't super excited about with print-on-demand, and then when I received the sample in the mail and saw it in person, it changed everything. Even after doing print-on-demand for so long, I still get excited on the day that print-on-demand samples arrive. I would say if you have it in the budget, ordering a couple samples is always a good thing. Now, the last thing I will leave you with in this video today is that print-on-demand is a real business. This is not a lottery ticket. No matter how many videos you watch about making $6,481 a month selling super simple t-shirt designs or super simple coffee mug designs that you watch, you are still going to be putting effort into this business. At the end of the day, you are selling products to real people. You are actually asking them to buy something from you. And in order to succeed with that, you have to create good stuff. You cannot just throw something together in a weekend and expect it to be now a money-making store. At this point, I have worked with a lot of different people. People that have gone through my training have made over $6 million in sales on their stores. And one thing that I have noticed is that the people that do end up succeeding are the ones that treat this like a real business. I would advise you to do the same. I would also try to manage your expectations. It's okay if you get started with print on demand and within your first 30 days have not made $10,000 in sales. You should be trying to treat this like a marathon and not a sprint. If you are coming into this with the goal of making your first $10,000 in the first 30 days or something like that, you're likely setting yourself up for some sort of disappointment. That's why I started off this by saying that this is a real business and not a lottery ticket. If you treat it like that and try to have fun and treat this like something you're going to be doing for the long term, you're going to be way more likely to actually succeed. Hopefully, everything I went through in this video today will prepare you to do that. Like I said, I also have a free print-on-demand course. It's linked down in the description. The name of it is POD for Dummies. Inside are over 30 videos showing you how to start your store. And like I said, it is completely free. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.